In my last video, we discussed on the use of pivot longer function. In case if you have not watched the previous video, you may refer to the video link in the description and have a look at that video again. So what is the pivot wider function? The pivot wider function widens the data. That means it increases the number of columns and decreases the number of rows. Now, so far, we have been emphasizing a lot on the tidy data structure because we saw that the tidy data structure actually helps us in analyzing the data and in visualizing the data more efficiently. But there are many situations in which the non-tidy data format is more useful than the tidy data format. So let's see this air quality data set. Now, if anyone wants to interpret this data, as you can see, the non-tidy version of the data will be more easy to interpret than the tidy version of this data. And similarly, if I were to add the new observations, then it would be very easy to add a new column in a non-tidy data frame than into a tidy data frame. So in terms of data collection and data recording also, sometimes the non-tidy data structure helps a lot. Now let's come back to the R and let's understand the pivot wider function. So let me first load the tidyverse library. And the data set that we will be using in this video is the American Community Survey data from 2013 to 2017. This data basically talks about the population and the housing information. Now I'm going to load the data. I'm going to create a new data frame called ACS data, and I'm going to load the data frame. So let's have a look at this data now. This data is in a tidy format. But if you look at the data set closely, then you will notice that the variable and estimate, these two, variable and estimates, are not actually the variables. Now you can see that there are three distinct values in the variable column. If I use the distinct function from the deploy package, I will see that there are three distinct values in the variable function. The population that has its own house, the population living in the rental property, and the median rent. And each of these values, each of these distinct values are actually the column variables in a sense. And the values of these variables will be the values coming from the estimate column. So let's go back to the R and let's try to use the pivot wider function to address this issue. So let me pipe in the data set. I'm going to drop the first column with the select function, pivot wider. Now the first argument will be the names from. Here the names from is the name of the column whose values are turned into variable in the new data format. So in our case, our original data set, the values of the column in the variable, we want to convert these values into columns. So names from equal to variable. And the values from argument will have the name of the column from the original data set that will be stored into the newly formed columns. So in this case, all the values from the estimate column will be stored into the newly formed columns of the transformed data set. So values from equal to estimate. So let us execute this function, and you can see that the transform data frame has more columns now and fewer rows compared to the original data frame. But this data frame, as you can see, is more interpretable than our tidy form of the data set. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, you may like to subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and also I'll appreciate if you can leave your suggestions in the comment section so that I can improve upon my content and reach to many more R learners. Thank you very much again. Take care and goodbye.